Welcome to Waiting and Watching. Today we are continuing Pilgrim's Progress, Chapter 2, the Slough of Despond. Now I saw in my dream that when Obstinate had gone back, Christian and Pliable went walking, and as they walked, they talked together. "Good neighbor Pliable," said Christian, "I am glad you are persuaded to come with me." "Do tell me more of what we are to enjoy where we are going," said Pliable. "Since you want to know," said Christian, "I will read of them in my Bible." "And do you know that the words in the Bible are certainly true?" asked Pliable. "Yes," said Christian, "for the Bible was made by him who cannot lie." "Well, of what things does the Bible speak?" asked Pliable. "There is an endless kingdom to be inhabited and everlasting life to be given to those who follow Christ," answered Christian. "We shall inhabit that kingdom forever." "That is wonderful," said Pliable. "And what else?" "There are crowns of glory to be given to us and garments that will make us shine like sun forever," answered Christian. "This is excellent," responded Pliable. "And what else?" "There shall be no crying nor sorrow, for he that is owner of the place will wipe all tears from their eyes," said Christian. "The hearing of this is enough to delight one's heart," said Pliable. "But how are these things to be enjoyed? How are we to be sharers of them?" "The Lord, the governor of the country, hath recorded them in his book, the substance of which is, if we are truly willing to have these things, he will give them to us freely, if we believe upon him and follow him." "Well, I am very glad to hear these things," answered Pliable. "Come on, let's quicken our pace." "I cannot go as fast as I would like to because of the burden that is on my back," said Christian. Now I saw in my dream that just as they had ended this talk, they came near to a very miry slough that was in the middle of the plain. They, not being careful, did both fall suddenly into the bog. The name of the slough was Despond. Here they wallowed for a time, being grievously covered with dirt. And Christian, because of the burden upon his back, began to sink. Pliable then cried out, "Ah, neighbor Christian, where are you now?" "Truly," said Christian, "I do not know." Hearing this, Pliable began to be offended and angrily said to his neighbor, "Is this the happiness that you told me about? If we have such trouble upon our first setting out upon our journey, what will happen between now and our journey's end? If I can get out of this slough with my life, you will travel to the eternal country alone without me." And with that, Pliable gave a desperate struggle and got out of the mire on the side of the slough that was close to his own house. So away he went, and Christian never saw him again. Therefore Christian was left to struggle in the Slough of Despond alone. He kept trying to reach the side of the slough that was further away from his house and closest to the wicket gate, but he could not get out because of the burden that was on his back. But then I saw in a dream that a man came to him whose name was Help, and asked him what he was doing there. "Sir," said Christian, "I was asked by a man named Evangelist to come this way so that I might reach the wicket gate and escape the wrath that is to come. But as I was traveling towards the gate, I fell in here." "But why did you not look for the steps?" asked Help. "Fear followed me so hard that I ran without looking and fell into the slough," answered Christian. "Give me your hand," said Help. So Christian gave him his hand, and Help drew him out of the mire and set him on solid ground and sent him on his way. Then Christian asked Help, "Sir, Since this is the way from the city of destruction to the wicket gate, why is it that the slough is not repaired, so that travelers can walk safely on their journey?" And Help answered, "This miry slough is such a place that cannot be repaired. It is where the filth and evil come from conviction of sin. Therefore it is called the Slough of Despond. For as the sinner is awakened about his lost condition, there arises in his soul many fears and doubts and discouragements, which come together and settle in this place. This is why the ground is filled with mire. It is not the pleasure of the king that this place remains so bad. His laborers have for 1,600 years worked on this muddy ground, trying to repair it, and the ground has swallowed up at least 20,000 cartloads of wholesome instructions that have been brought by the king. But it is still the Slough of Despond, even after all their hard work. There are, by the direction of the lawgiver, good and solid steps placed through the middle of the slough. But because of the filth and change of weather, these steps are hard to see. Or if they are seen, men, through the confusion of their minds, step aside and fall into the slough, even though the steps are there to guide them. Now I saw in my dream that by this time Pliable had reached his own home. So his neighbors came out to visit him, and some called him a wise man for coming back. Some called him foolish for traveling with Christian in the first place. Others mocked his cowardice, saying, "Since you began your journey, you should not have given up after a few difficulties." So Pliable sat sullenly among them. But at last he overcame himself, and then they all began to criticize poor Christian behind his back. Next time, we will discover how Christian meets Mr. Worldly Wise Man on his journey. For of him and through him and to him are all things. To him be the glory both now and forevermore. Amen.